Okay, what were you saying again?
Yeah, like, okay, so what I had a friend, like I had a friend that I knew for like 5 years. And like she was like my sister, you know what I'm saying? Like she was like my sister. Like that was somebody who like when it just beyond just like, like I have older sisters, but like that was somebody who like, we're the same age. You know what I'm saying? My sisters are a lot more older than me, like 25. They're a lot more older. But like she was like my sister. And I remember I was just telling her, I was just like, like I remember like, time and them going on and she, having a child and stuff like that. And just me, just like, being in like a space of just evolution and awakening, being in the space of like, okay, like I'm waking up to who I am. Things need to change for me. I need to stop drinking. I'm getting on the path of just figuring out taking control of my life, really taking control of my life and taking my power back from just negativity, taking my power back from just fear, taking my power back from just trauma. So, during this time, I was just, I was just going through my evolution. I'm like, okay, I feel like it's time for me to check into rehab. Let me go. I'm just like, okay, let me just try it. I went there and like, it was an angel, like it was a white guy. He was a whole angel, like no funny. He was the whole angel. And I remember he told me, he was like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I'm about checking the rehab. And he's like, I just did heroin this morning. Do you really think? He was like, I did heroin this rising. Do you really think that this is going to help you? I just told them that I did heroin this morning.
Yeah.
Now, me looking beyond just him doing drugs,
Yeah.
but just me listening to what he's saying. He's like, if
Right.
I did heroin this morning, what makes you think that rehab is helping me?
Yeah.
So I'm like, he's like, go home, figure it out.
Yeah.
So I get in my car and I leave. And it was too expensive anyway. But I told my friend, I hadn't talked to her in months. I told her, I'm like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting my life back. I'm getting things right. And like you said, having that comfortable space where you can be sensitive and considerate, she didn't have that. She didn't
Yeah.
have that consideration, that compassion to understand. She was just thinking I was just everywhere, blah, 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 blah. Like I said, I'm very unpredictable. So she was just like, her being her, she's thinking I'm just everywhere. I'm just out in the sky and I'm just like, just doing stuff. No, I'm figuring out, I'm coming back down to earth for a second and I'm
Yeah.
figuring out how can I change things for me.
Yeah.
She proceeds to tell me, you need to get your ish together.
Mm.
That's not how you talk to friends. For one, that's not how you talk to friends. No matter what your friend is going through, you never talk to a friend that way.
Yeah.
No matter what they're going through. If I'm asking you for help, and if you can give me that help, now if you can't give me that help, then just say I can't give you that help. That's okay. That's okay too. But I feel like too, she got so carried away and just she had a lot going on. She's having a child. She's figuring out her world. Just say that's okay. And
Yeah.
at this time, she asked me to be her baby's godparent. So
Mm.
I'm like, I asked her, I'm like, okay, just to make sure, if you want me to be your child's godparent, let me know because I need to get my mind, my heart, and everything. I'm waking up to myself. I'm like, okay, I don't want to, I don't want to put myself in a predicament where I can't even I can't support myself, but you want me to give love to a human being you created. That's
Yeah.
a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
That's a human being that I'm looking after. I'm supposed to be the role model. If I'm a godparent, that's like your fairy godparent, beyond just
Right.
buying
Right.
things, but the guidance. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So she was just like, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. I already figured out. I'm like, okay. Then she proceeds to tell me how she feels. With friends, I feel like with just the evolution of friends, you always have to make sure that you can conversate, consider, and be compassionate.
Yes. Three C's.
Three C's, and that just came off the top of my
Yeah.
head. Considerate, compassionate, and consider, compassionate, and communicate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like actually communicate and actually value that. So if we're friends, right? And you telling me, Livy, okay, like you doing a lot right now. I'm gonna be like, okay, like I am doing a lot right now. Especially if I know how I am. You know
Right.
what I mean? I'm gonna be like, okay, like I am doing a lot right now. Okay, let me just calm down for a second. I'm hyped right now. Let me just
Yeah.
calm down. My friend. This is my friend telling me this. This is my
Right.
sister. Beyond just friend, I don't want to say friend because friend has in at the end and think I don't want to just say friend. So, I'm gonna say sister. You're my sister. You like Libby, like, like I don't know what you got going on, but I think you need to take some time to yourself. I feel like we should take some time to ourselves. I'm figuring out
Yeah.
some things, you figuring out some things. That's okay too. But back to the garden. I was the flower. She was the flower in my garden. I value her friendship. Anytime she needed anything, I was there. Beyond just financial status, whatever. Anything, just that sisterly love. You know what I'm saying? And then it goes back to trauma bonding too. I had to go back and go deeper. She didn't have her father either. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm living with my dad and I'm getting the opposite treatment. You see what I'm saying? So it goes back to even deeper trauma. So, just like, being able to go back and like not like go back in time and be able to actually value friendships and not trauma bond the first time I meet you. We don't have to trauma bond the first time I meet you. We don't have to be friends from trauma bonding. And if that's how you make friends, then I don't want to be a part of that. If I can't tell you that I love you and I think that you should do better or be better for yourself, I don't think if you can't accept that, or if you're not saying it in a loving way, a compassionate way, that you're still being considerate of my feelings and you're communicating what you want to say, then I don't think that we should be friends moving forward.
Right.
Period. I feel like that, like point blank. Period. But going back to your world, when it comes to your friends, you have that power. I'm not gonna say I don't have friends. I'm kind of like in the journey of just like finding my tribe, but at the same time, not getting lost in it, not getting lost in that journey, not making it so dreadful where I feel like I don't have nobody. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what happens. We feel like we don't have nobody. We get lost in the idea. But like like when it comes to just like making friends, having friendships and stuff like that, treating your friends like the flower in your garden and them being okay with that and them accepting that, and then vice versa. If they can't treat you like a flower in their garden, then why are you even here?
Right.
Why are you even here?
What is the point of all of this? And I think because partially it was taught this way, I don't think that we value every relationship as if it, like, marriage is top tier. That's how people rate relationships. But friendships are also relationships. Relationships with your family is also a relationship. You have to put in daily work. Just like you want a successful marriage, you want a successful friendship. You want to have a successful relationship with your family members, but it's daily work. And you have to understand that just like you're on a journey, this other person is on their own journey too. And you might not always be able to articulate what's going on in your journey today. And they might not be able to understand what's going on in your journey today. But those 3 C's are important.
Absolutely. And I think too, people, I feel like not even just people, but I feel like society has like taught us that like we have to like not put in the work. If it just we have to not put in the work, we kind of just hey we kind of have to just not put in the work and just be like, okay, if it's not working, then it's not meant. But it's like that's like, if anything, that's like if you're not good at math, how do you expect to get better at math if you're not doing math?
Yeah.
How do you expect, if you're not doing math, if you're not actually learning math, how do you expect to get better? And it comes with like same thing goes with love languages. Love languages with our friends, our peers, our relationships, our family, being able to create different spaces for those different energies. You know what I'm saying? Like if you know that your family gonna be on some bull, be able to have that boundary. This is how far I'm gonna go. This is how far I'm gonna go. I'm not going no farther. You don't get to go no farther. This is my wall right here. I don't. And if they're okay with that, then okay. But if they're not okay with that, then they don't need to be around.
And I think it's kind of hard with family because, like, yeah, you have some friends that you grew up with and you like they learned you as you grew, but with family, they know you from the beginning. So they knew you when. So sometimes it's hard for them to understand that this is who I am now. They only see you as, yeah, this who you say you are now, but I remember when you was out here doing this, this, and this. So it kind of makes it hard when you're on the journey and like people that really think they know, kind of like that book that you said, like they saw a few chapters of your life, but they read a couple of chapters and they think that they automatically know you, but they didn't read the last 20, 30 chapters.
Right. And it's so crazy that you even say that, because it makes me, as soon as you said that, it made me think about like just like, for example, okay, like Medea family reunion. like how everybody remembered each other, like from like childhood stuff. But it's like nobody was actually willing or open to accept how everybody grew up now.
Yeah.
And I think that too, like with family, like you said, they seen a couple of chapters. They remember when you were 1, 2, 3, 4. But at the same time, like, don't get so lost in the idea, because I evolved too. The same way you evolved and grew up to be my uncle, the same way you grew up and evolved to be my dad, the same way you grew up and evolved to be my mother, like whatever however the relationships are, you have to be able to be okay with, this is how I am, this is who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is who I am. And it may not make sense to you, but that's okay.
Right.
It's supposed to only make sense to me. That's what the journey's for. It's supposed to only make sense to me. It's not supposed to make sense to you. But if you can accept that it don't make sense, and you can accept the unpredictability of just my existence, then that's okay too.
Yeah.
Like,
if you like, I don't really understand, but if you happy, I'm happy for you.
Well, exactly. And that's all you have to say. That's all you have to say. And I feel like when it comes to like family, I feel like family is like one of those like hardest, like imaginary brick. I'm gonna say it's imaginary brick wall, because it's not even a real brick wall. But like, I feel like family is like one of the hardest brick walls of trauma that people can't get over. Because like when you go back to where you were hurt, or when you go back to the root of things, you always it's always like a subconscious side of you that becomes small. Yeah. That becomes that 10-year-old, that becomes that 12-year-old, that becomes that 13-year-old, because you're afraid of being judged, because you're afraid of being perceived a certain way, because you're afraid of stepping on people's toes, because of just how you evolved into who you are. But at the same time, like, I've gotten to the space in my life where it's like, either you can take it or leave it. like even if I don't make sense, that's okay. Like, you don't have to understand it. Like, it's not for you to understand. It's
everybody
for me to
ain't gonna get it.
What?
And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. I always say, like, when I first started the business, I was like, whether 1 or 1,000, somebody gonna get this message. I don't know who,
exactly.
I don't know where, and I damn sure don't know when, but somebody gonna get it.
Exactly. And I feel like too, like, I'm just learning. I'm really just getting to the space of just like actually understanding that. And then it all goes back to just like standing in our power, taking our power back. You know what I'm saying? Taking our power back from people who mistreated it, abused it, and things like that. And just like coming back to the center, coming back to sender. It's like coming back to the sender, like of us, sender of us. Like,
so what keeps you centered and grounded?
Okay. That's a good question. I feel like what keeps me centered and grounded is like, does it have to be a physical thing? Like,
It's
does it have to be
whatever your thing is.
Okay. I feel like what keeps me centered and grounded is like looking at my reality from like an observer point of view. Because I feel like sometimes I'm so deep inside of my reality where my fears can manifest, where my anxieties can manifest into a scenario, where my worries can become my reality, where my fear can just come back again. So I like, for me, I'm learning to become the driver in my car rather than like, okay, if I see the car crashing, I can calmly get out of the car without being hurt, or fly out, like remembering I can fly out of the car. And when I say fly out of the car, I mean like it's like the mind. I can fly out of that like old energy. Like, I don't have to be so stuck inside of myself. I can be an experiencer of myself. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's important, because like, you know, like as humans, we deal with emotions, we deal with feelings, then we got trauma on top of that, then we have worries, and then we have karmic subconscious things that come up. Then we have so many different things that we're like decluttering every day. So it's like I'm learning to like become an experiencer of these different energies, and not be so inside of it. Because I feel like if you're so inside of it, you'll get lost in it. And then it's like you're back to square one, and you're trying to figure out who you are. Just with me, just my journey, I'm trying to figure out, oh, well, who am I? And it's just like, I know who I am. I just let so much clutter of just the day, or just scenarios of worries or whatever, that I allowed back inside of my mind to overcloud my mind, overcloud my thinking. So then I'm back at square one. So like meditation. I like to do yoga. I love to do yoga. I love to dance too. If I'm not doing yoga, I'm more than likely just dancing. I'm more than likely just going outside, just going to the lake, choreographing, just dancing, like actually expressing myself and just however that looks. Um, expressing myself, talking to myself, but not talking to myself too much because sometimes, the mind is something else. Like the mind will be tricking you and it's like, hold on,
like I
who
be
said
catching
that?
myself sometimes because I was just about to say, like, I'm too much in my head sometimes. And then I'll be
What?
like, okay, is this reality or are you trying to trip me out? Like, let me pay
What?
attention to what's really going on in the world.
What? Right. And I feel like my mind is the same way. Like my mind is the same way. And it's so crazy that you even said it because our minds, we are so smart. We are so much smart. We are
Mhm.
so smart. We are so much smarter than our minds. Our minds literally be trying to trick us.
Yeah,
Like our ego will go back and try to trick us into something that we already knew wasn't true. But it's like
exactly.
it just try to see if we gonna is you gonna fall for this?
Am I gonna get you this time? All right.
Yeah.
Maybe next time. Maybe next time.
Right, because I feel like our egos be knowing, like our higher self, our conscious, our higher this state always, like our higher state always know, like we know the answer. All
Yeah.
we have to do is just come back to ourselves. But then it's our ego that be like, let me just throw in a little bit of chaos in it and see if she
Yeah.
gonna fall for it. And then I'm like, what you said? And then it's like who said that? Like, where did that
Yeah.
even come from? Like, so like I'm in my head a lot, like a lot. You know what I mean? And like juggling that with like my artistry, and then I have to actually be social with people.
Yeah.
Like I be borderline like I'm mastering anxiety. I'm mastering that. Like I'm
Yeah.
mastering anxiety because like when it comes to just like being a performer and being a performer, being an artist, and then being anything. You know what I'm saying? You have a business, you have to communicate with people. So it's like you have a little person, you have to communicate. So it's like it's one of those things like zooming out, literally
Yeah.
zooming out. Like,
Yeah.
and for that reason of zooming out, like sometimes I even like not wear glasses for that reason. I wear glasses too. I wear glasses for that reason sometimes so I can just be inside of myself because I feel like if I can't see what's going on out here, but I won't get lost in what's going on out here. I can
Yeah.
focus on just in here because I can only see this far, or I can only see, you know what I'm saying? I can only see my vortex right now. So like just like talking to myself, but not talking to her too much because sometimes she be trying to trick me out my
Yeah.
sovereignty. She be trying to trick me out my sovereignty. I'm like, first of all,
Yeah.
like we already mastered this a week ago.
Right. Right.
We already figured it out.
Don't be
Don't
coming
try
over here
to
double dutching trying to figure out if I'm in or out.
what? Come on, like I figured this out like last week. Did you forget? Like I already figured the
Yeah.
answer out. So
Yeah.
like talking to myself, but not talking to myself too much, and being an observer, like actually just like turning everything off. Because I feel like sometimes like I be forgetting that I have the control to my light switch in my house. I can choose to turn the light off, and it be because of so many thoughts and so many different. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I'm thinking about the conversation I just had with somebody 4 months ago. Like,
Yeah.
why is that even like popping up? Why am I even like over analyzing and overthinking? And it always goes back to me. Like I'm always realizing it goes back to me. Like, am I questioning myself? Am I overthinking myself? Am I overthinking how I was? Like I'm learning to experience myself each day differently.
Right.
Like, how I respond today may not be the same as I respond today. Yesterday's price isn't today's price. So,
Yeah.
like just like I'm learning to just embrace that as the journey. Like, okay, like I'm not gonna be the same every day, but at the same time, not get lost in that. Not get lost in like, okay, I'm not gonna be the same every day, but I still hold myself accountable
Yeah.
for how I act, how I respond, how I just move. I have that control.
Right. And it's kind of hard, especially with me being a Gemini. People really think that I be flip floppy, but it's like, no, today this is me. Like this is me today. What are you talking about? Yeah, I was bad yesterday, but I'm good today.
Right. Like I agree. We all a little bit dysfunctional, but just
Right.
be balanced in it. Like I'm a Leo. Like I'm a Leo, and like my past life I was a Gemini. So
Mhm.
I'm like borderline really everywhere, but I'm
Yeah.
literally nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Right.
it's like, why is you so in the sky right now? And all you gotta do is just be in your sun sign. All you have to do is just be a Leo. You don't even have
Yeah.
to do too much. Why are you like flying around and you don't even gotta fly around? Like where are you flying to? Where are we going? Like
Yeah. Like it's so
I
urgent. Like, where do you have to be right now?
exactly. And I
Where?
feel like too, I have my dad is a Gemini. My dad is a Gemini. And like when I tell you like just like Geminis, I love Geminis. I love Geminis. I love Geminis. I feel like Geminis, you can get either or. It's like embracing them as them being them because like they're said to be split, but it's like it's a balance. It's a balance with anything. We're all split. Like it's a balance with anything. So it's like I completely I agree with you on that one. You just hit home for me. Like you just like where are you like dang you was acting funny yesterday like
No,
but
I
I'm good
wasn't acting funny.
today.
I wasn't in the mood. It
I'm
wasn't
good
giving.
today.
And people don't really understand that it's not you, it's me. Like that's so legitimately. Like I'm not feeling it any of this, none of it. Whatever it is, put it in the box. I'm not feeling any of it. None.
I felt that. I agree with that. Like that's funny. That is funny. I feel like just like being able to have those moments. Like I find a couple of like meditations like of like decluttering the mind of like being like they have like a meditation like whereas you can like basically be the observer. You can go back to being an observer, and then like of course your mind is gonna start to scatter, but like you can actually drive your mind back into like being a driver. So it's
Yeah.
like, like I like it's about a 15-minute one, but like I do appreciate like the 15 minutes because it's worth the 15 minutes because it's more than enough for the day. It's more than enough to get things done, and it's more than enough to be like repeated.
Right.
Like it's these are things that we have to like make habits. Like I'm learning like these are habits. Like these are habits we have to make habits, and then like that's the journey. Like understanding ourselves, experiencing ourselves.
But like this is kind of off topic, but it's kind of still on
Mm-hmm.
topic about
Mm-hmm.
learning yourself. So for years I was trying to lose weight, right? And you know how everybody's like, "Oh, take this or do this." And I started drinking this. I made this smoothie. I made this drink. Blah blah blah. Get a personal trainer. Did all of that. None of the stuff worked. So
Mm-hmm.
after a while, I was like, you know what? I realized that I wasn't interested in going to the gym because I feel like it was too much competition there. Like you got people that are beginners and you got people that are extreme, excelled beyond any whatever, and they're training and they making the big bucks doing what they do, and they all come to the same gym. So I felt like it was too much competition at the gym. So then I was like, you know what? I'm paying this personal trainer. I'm coming to the gym. I'm not really seeing no results. Like, let me just change my mindset. I was already in the state, like going through trying to declutter and, hey, baby, trying to declutter and do all of this stuff. So I was like, well, if I'm changing my mindset, let's see how it works if I change my mindset towards what I eat or my diet per se. So for years I was already like in between vegan, pescatarian, vegetarian. Like I was always going in between all of that stuff. And I still wasn't losing weight. So I was like, what if I eat what I want? But I still include other things. Like I make sure that I do my smoothies. I drink all my water. I detox. I drink hella herbal teas. Like I do all of this stuff. I meditate. I do yoga. Like incorporate an ass of stuff, everything at one time instead of focusing on one thing.
Right.
So I started doing that and the weight just started coming off. And I was like, it's amazing how much more you can get done when it's mind, body, soul, spirit, being all into this one thing, as opposed to, yeah, I want it done. So I guess I'm gonna try to figure out today. I'm not feeling it out. I'm not feeling it today. I'm not gonna really do too much. Like when you make a conscious decision daily to show up and be in that space, it makes a world of difference in every aspect of life.
You hit that right on the head. First of all, I hope y'all caught that because that is truth. That
Yeah.
is wholehearted truth. That is wholehearted truth. Changing your perspective, and like you said, like I feel like I've been pescatarian as well. I remember I'm vegan now, but I remember when I first stopped eating meat. I remember I was starving myself. Like I remember I was starving, like starving myself. And then too, ironically, I'm working at McDonald's. I'm around meat all day.
Yeah.
So like only thing I'm limited to is really eating like lettuce, or I'm eating basically grilled cheese sandwiches with the buns.
Yeah,
Like it's
girl,
just
and
like,
that was a hard life. That was a hard
so
life, man.
what? I'm like, I'm literally starving myself. And
Yeah.
it's because I'm trying to push my spirit into something that my mind is like dreadful about. You know what I'm saying? My mind is just like, this is gonna be a hassle. This is
Yeah.
gonna be a process. This is gonna be this is gonna be that. And like you said, changing your perspective and doing it and sticking to it. I went to the gym. I think I went to the gym a couple of times. I had membership. I did not like it. It was very distracting. Like, it was very distracting. It was just people everywhere. I'm on my treadmill. It's people walking past me. People getting on the treadmill next to me. So I'm not even having my actual spaceship. I'm not even in my spaceship. I'm in somebody else's spaceship trying to be in my spaceship.
Yeah.
So it's like, I started to just like, like it's okay to it's okay to go work out by yourself. It's okay to go and do it for yourself. Like, do it for yourself. Like, do it for yourself. Go, and I can go to the lake. I can go dance. I can go do yoga. I can go meditate by myself. I can go do this by myself. I don't need the distractions from the outer world of me looking up at, I'm on my treadmill. I'm looking up and I see somebody with a six pack, or I look up and I see the dude, he lifting 100 pounds. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm looking
How
up.
the hell he doing that?
I'm looking up I'm looking around, and then I'm like, okay, like, we're not gonna get that protein. We're gonna get a protein shake. Now
Yeah.
I'm spending almost $20 on 3 protein shakes that I didn't have to
Girl.
spend because I'm lost inside of what he's
Yeah.
doing. He probably did so much to get to that point.
Yeah. You
You know
didn't
what I'm saying?
see what happened before.
Exactly. Exactly. And you know what I'm saying? Like I completely agree with that so much. Being able to just do your journey, be on your journey.
Yeah.
Like, just be, it's okay to not like it. I feel like everybody, like, we sometimes just get lost in comparing ourselves into how somebody else is look, or
Yeah.
what somebody else is doing. And it's because, like, society tells us, but it's like, now we learn how to break those barriers. And we want change, we can do that for ourselves. And we
Yeah.
want to lose
You
weight,
don't
we can
need
do that for
permission
ourselves.
now.
We don't need permission to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like having free will, wholehearted free will. But I felt that on so many levels, like doing everything to the point that it's like, it's becoming so dreadful to the point that all it took is for me to just change my mind.
Yeah, that's
Like,
it. And I think
pescatarian was hard. Pescatarian was hard. I was starving. I'm eating shrimp and eggs for dinner. Like shrimp, like fried grilled shrimp and boiled eggs for dinner. Like, that is not a life. Like, who
girl,
wants to eat that?
I think the hardest thing that I did was like maybe paleo.
What's paleo?
If I'm not mistaken, because I get keto and paleo mixed up. If I'm not mistaken, it's like proteins, like just eating hella proteins. So and then dang, I done did so many different things. I'm mixing everything up because I remember buckwheat noodle. It was just so many different things that people were saying that you got to try to do this to stay on the diet. And I was like, you know what? I was so hungry. I was always angry. And that's why I knew that it was not for me. It's not for me because one, I like to eat. I love to eat. So to
What?
tell me that my food sources are limited and I already don't know what I'm supposed to be eating as it is. Like, I like to eat. So when I pick out my meals, like, I really sit and I think about my meal. I meditate on it and I'll be like, okay, I need to go to the store and I need to get this. Like, I get serious about my food. So for you to tell me that my food sources are limited, listen, I was ready to fight every single minute. Don't come to me asking me for nothing. I don't know nothing. I ain't seen nothing. I ain't thought about nothing. I want food.
Right.
That is it. That's the conversation. If you ain't got it, don't come over here.
Seriously. Oh, I felt that on so many levels. I felt it on so many levels. Like, you just brought back so many memories for me. Like, I remember just like fasting. Like, when I first I remember, like, it just got to a point where it was like, I'm full vegan now, but like being so hungry, it got to a point like I'm checking out a McDonald's. I'm looking at the grill. I'm looking at the grill in the back. I'm like, do they got any more like hamburgers back there? Like, I was a red meat lover. Like, I was a red meat lover. I'm like, do you got any more chicken nuggets back there? Oh, I'm just grabbing a chicken nugget. My dad wanted a 20-piece. Like, he just want a 20-piece when I get off.
What's
I'm in
that
the room, I'm eating, I'm busting that thing in the car. And if that was not the life to live, like, it was not like, I shouldn't feel ashamed of like wanting to change, but then it's like I'm fighting that change because it's like I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? And it's like really in actuality, my spirit is hungry for something new, but I'm just getting used. I'm going back to what I'm used to. So I had to like change my perspective. Like when I first went vegan, like I remember I just cut meat off. And I remember I started buying a whole bunch of fruit. I literally was in my room. I started using my imagination. I realized like the imagination that's a tool.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a tool. I started imagining like pizza. Like I literally started imagining pizza, but I'm eating watermelon. I'm eating healthy, but I'm imagining me eating pizza. Like I'm like, okay, like this could work. This could really work. This could really work.
You know, this thing might be all right.
This might be all right. And I started to notice a change in just my health. Like I started to notice a change in just my health. Like I had a lot of like in my family, like we have a lot of solar plexus problems. Like my dead gut. I didn't even know that was actually a thing. Like my grandma told me it's a disease called dead gut. Like I'm like, are you serious? And a lot of our Black people suffer from solar plexus problems. A lot of like, we can't get the toxins out of our gut, then like everything else is just blocked from there. If we can't use the bathroom right, then everything else just stops like functioning. But like, when I started to change my perspective on just my health, it started like I started to lose the extra weight. Like I'm not even that tall and I'm not even that big, but I was like 150 and I'm only 5'5". You see what I'm saying? But now I'm like I had to like change my perspective, and that weight started to just drop. Started to change my perspective and to imagine what I want to look like too. Imagine what I want to look like while I'm working out. Imagine what I want to look like.
The outfits that I want to wear, like
exactly.
Because I live for something with a back out. Like I grew up and I was very conservative, but like after a while, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try something with my back out. And girl, you can't stop me now. Girl, just a little back meat showing. What?
I'm feeling the V, the V, like the V's. Like I love the V's, like the V's, and then like the dresses that have like the pullback where you can tie it, like where you can like
girl, live for it.
Giving.
Yes. But it's little small things like that, like checking back into that femininity conversation. Like, I like to be sexy sometimes. And that's okay. Like, I'm not used to that, and I'm trying to get used to that, and that's okay.
Right. Exactly. And I couldn't have agreed with you more. With just like getting back into what it looks like for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not getting carried away in the idea. Like I used to get so carried away, like when it came to performances and stuff like that. Like I would just be like I would see what I wanted to look like. And like I would see what I wanted to look like, and I would manifest what I wanted to look like. And of course I would look like it, but I'm a totally different person from then. You see what I'm saying? So now how do I adjust I have to adjust my perspective of how I actually look now. Not get carried away in the idea to whereas I'm chasing the old idea of myself.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, okay, like my hair is pink now. I have locks. You know what I'm saying? My hair is pink. I have locks. What does that look like for me?
Right.
What do I look like now with just me? What do I look like now? What do beyond Livy love? What does Livy look like? What does Olivia look like now? So, like me, like I'm living for like back out. Like, I love that. Like summertime, like wintertime has been my summertime this whole time. Like I'm just loving I'm loving the weather. I'm loving like just everything about like now. And like, like Goodwill, we gotta go thrift shopping. We gotta go. We gotta go
to thrift.
We gotta go.
Oh yeah, girl, please don't start. Like it's certain places that I'm not allowed to go to. Let's go ahead. Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Goodwill.
Oh, don't, please don't. It was a store in that plaza in Michael's at or Joann's fabric store.
Uh-huh.
When I tell you, I would stay there. They closed down now, but it was called
Yeah.
Class Mentor. Class Mentor. It was
Mhm.
basically like a thrift store, but it was like it was like like it was like brands, like different brands of clothes, but the clothes were no more than like $10. And I remember like I would be on each aisle, like I'm like, and ladies like, we're ready for you. I'm like, hold on, man. I'm like, I
Yeah.
need to go right quick. Like give me a second. Like I'm about to go down this.
Like if I go to a department store, I cannot find anything to wear. If I go to TJ Maxx, like go to the mall or something like that, I can never find anything to
Me
wear.
neither.
Take me to
Me neither.
Goodwill, baby, and my
Take me to
mind
Goodwill.
just start going, and I'm like, oh, I can wear this, this, and this, and I can put this together one time. Like it's a totally different perspective for dressing
Yes.
as opposed to going to an actual big name store.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Once you go to those big stores, I feel like sometimes they limit like your creativity. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
they
saying?
do.
Like you only feel limited. Okay, they got a top, they got a crop top, and then you only feel limited to wear that crop top with
Mhm.
then they got the pants that match the crop top. So now you feel limited with just getting that. Now you just spend $45 on nothing. On an outfit you probably gonna wear once.
Now, see, that's the stuff that make me mad when I can get more clothes for $45 than I can actually get when I'm going to the big name stores. Like, why would I go here when I can get more for my money? It makes no
Absolutely.
sense.
Absolutely. And it's crazy you even say that because like you just made me think about just my whole binge of Aeropostale.
Mm,
I don't even go by that store no more because
yeah.
I just felt like their prices went up too high. First of all, they got denim jeans for $100. I can get 8. I probably can get 20 at least
Yeah,
from same
they
jeans, and
just
I can like
ridiculous.
yeah, yeah. But we definitely going thrift shopping. We going
Got to.
thrifting.
It's a
We
must.
going thrifting. It's a must. It's a must. But
So, Libby, I enjoyed this conversation so much. I guess that's why
me
I woke
too.
up in such a good mood. Like, I knew today was going to be an awesome day.
I
So,
woke up and I was like, I woke up and I was like, last night I was like, I got my meeting tomorrow. Like, I'm
yeah,
like, I don't like, because we crossed paths before, but like now we actually have like had a moment of actually like
right.
conversating, like actually like getting to know each other. Like we crossed paths, of course, because of this business or whatever. But like now it's like now we actually like are getting to know each other. Like it's
Yeah.
like okay, like
She
yeah,
cool. She cool.
yeah. Yeah, you are. We both are like for real.
Yeah,
Like I'm
definitely.
definitely appreciative.
So, what do you have? Like, what message would you like people to get from your story?
I want people to understand. Like I want people to understand. Don't judge.
Mm,
However I show up is how I show up,
yeah.
and that's okay for anybody. However you show up in the room, that's okay. Like you may not be. You may meet me today, and I may be like outspoken, and maybe tomorrow I'm overthinking something, and then maybe I don't want to talk. But that's okay too.
Yeah.
But just don't judge me. Don't judge me for me being me. Don't prejudge because I won't prejudge you. I'm very open to just everybody. I'm open to just like learning from like we're like I don't know how old you are, but I'm 20. And
Mm,
like like I'm pretty sure you're a lot more or older than me. I want to say a lot more. I want to just say that. I don't want to say that. We gonna say you're old enough to be my sister.
yeah.
And just that we had this conversation, and it's like us being able to have a real conversation without no labels,
Yeah.
no stigmas, no age. This person is this, that. No, we didn't have none of that. So,
Right.
for me, just don't judge me. You know what I mean? Don't judge me and I won't judge you. I value the human experience. I value meeting people and I'm learning to just be more social. So I would say learning from me, just put yourself out there. Put yourself out there and just give the world anything that you have to offer, give it all you got.
Yeah.
Like, give it all you got. My music, my artistry, I pray that women just like